So you broke the exhaust bolts on your motorcycle. Yep, me too. I tried everything, from welding on a nut, using extractors, nothing worked. So I had to resort to drilling it out, but of course that destroyed the original threads and now they can't be used. So I'm left with the only other option, which is to drill it out even more and use a tap to size it for an oversized exhaust bolt. I'm using this titanium drill bit, which is plenty strong for this aluminum cylinder head. Make sure whatever size bit you use is the correct size for the tap you're going to use to tap the hole. They do need to match. The tap size I'm using is M10 by 1.5, and I'll be using a plug tap so I can get the threads cut as deep as possible. I'm using oil to cut these threads. This is an aluminum cylinder head, so technically you're not supposed to have to use oil on aluminum, but I'm choosing to use it anyway. Now I'm going to show you this part, but honestly there's not really too much for me to say because I don't want this video to turn into a video on how to use tap and die sets. There's plenty of other videos on YouTube for how to use those tools, so if you don't know how to use them, I'd encourage you to do a little research, then come back to this video for specifically how to fix this problem. Maybe even more specifically on this exact bike, because this is a Suzuki SV650 head, and I found out the hard way. Turns out this is a really common problem to happen, especially on the front cylinders. I am curious though, what kind of bikes you guys are working on. Go ahead and leave a comment down below and tell us all what bike did you break the exhaust bolts on, especially if it's a Suzuki SV650. Then you gotta tell me, just so I feel better. Now that the hole is tapped for a bigger bolt, we'll just use a bigger exhaust bolt, right? Well, not exactly. The hole on this flange is sized for an M8 bolt, and this M10 bolt is not going to fit without drilling it first. I could drill it out, but that'd be getting pretty close to the sides of the flange, and I don't want to have to do that. Instead, I'm going to go with this option, which is an exhaust stud instead of an exhaust bolt. Specifically, this stud, because it's a little different than a regular stud, because it has M10 by 1.5 thread pitch on the right side, and M8 by 125 on the left. This way the big end will fit perfectly in the hole we just tapped in the cylinder head, and the small end fits the exhaust flange perfectly, since that is the original size that was meant for this flange. Like I said, you could just drill out the flange and put in an oversized exhaust bolt. Do it whichever way makes the most sense to you. I honestly am not sure which way is going to work out better in the end. I'm just trying something different out to see how it works. I'm also going to go ahead and put some anti-seize on this exhaust stud so that hopefully this problem never happens again. Now to actually tighten this stud down, there's nothing on the end of it for me to use a tool the conventional way, so the only way I can tighten this is to use two nuts. So you put two nuts onto the end of the stud and tighten them against each other, kind of like you'd use for a lock nut, and then that way you can attach a socket wrench to tighten down the stud. If the nuts start to thread down the stud, either the stud is tight or you don't have the nuts tight enough against each other. I found out that these do have to be pretty tight against each other to actually hold, to get the stud all the way tight. And there you go. Eventually, when the stud is all the way bottomed out, the nuts will do the same thing. They'll start to thread down the exhaust stud, and then you know it's finished. I did the same thing to the other stud to install it, so now let's go ahead and give this exhaust flange a test fit and see how it works. And it looks like it's a perfect fit, so my problem is solved. If this video helped you solve your problem, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions or advice you want to add to the video, go ahead and leave a comment down below and let us all know what you think. Thanks for watching, and good luck.